All right, so Stefan, you seem very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. It's the last time we saw her.
What were the conversations that y'all had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. She said thanks, love you too. That was it.
And so where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she could be. And we're scared. We just want her home.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing super well. Thank you all so much for being here and for taking the time to listen to today's video. Today, I wanted to do a case update video because I feel like it's really important to kind of, keep up with how the cases are going, with what's going on in the investigation, if there's anything that we can do to support the families or to support the investigation, either by donating to a GoFundMe or signing a petition. It's just really important that we stay up to date with what we're talking about on this channel and that we don't just hit post on the video and then kind of forget about it, because again, these are real cases, real lives, and important things that, need awareness. A lot of people have been asking me to make an update on what's going on with Madeline Soto's case and Alicia Navarro. There actually has been a couple of, big movements made in those cases. I was reading up on Madeline Soto's and that one just really, God, it made me feel disgusting because so many new things were revealed about Stefan. So there actually is a lot to talk about in Madeline's case. As for Alicia Navarro, there's also updates on what's going on with her. A lot of you guys have actually been sending me updates through Instagram, so I really appreciate that. That way I can also stay up to date with what's going on. There's a lot to talk about in today's video. I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here and for literally being the best familia ever. You guys have no idea how much you guys mean to me and how much I appreciate you guys being here every single week and helping me spread awareness. I do want to give a quick shout out to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They are an amazing organization that has worked with so many cases and with so many families to help them find their loved ones or to spread awareness on child abuse and things like that. So they are a really amazing organization that does some great work. So I will be donating a portion of today's video to NECMEC. Now, before we get into today's video, I do just want to take a quick moment to thank today's sponsor who support this channel and the team behind it. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video and supporting this channel. I've started to realize that to be in therapy and to talk to someone professionally, there doesn't always have to be a specific reason or issue going on in your life. As a human, you're always going through ups and downs and personal challenges, and sometimes having someone to talk about that with is more helpful than people think. For me, as a content creator online, it comes with a lot of positivity, which I love, but it can also come with negativity. The pressures of having your passion now be your full-time job and turning that into a business, growing a team, keeping up the expectations of your community, trying to get better, managing your personal life, seeing yourself on camera all day, listening to yourself all day. I mean, all of that put together can just kind of be a lot and it can be difficult to navigate. As an individual, I am about to be married, and as I evolve into this next chapter in my life, I also think about how I'm getting older and the changes happening in my life and my body, and it can sometimes feel hard to accept. I know a lot of people can relate to that, and as we get older, there's just more challenges. Therapy overall can be that safe space to let those feelings, overwhelm, and even excitement out to a third party who is there to professionally help you with just listening to you or giving you actionable steps to help you. And I think that would be so beneficial for me and a lot of other people as we keep growing through life. And thankfully, BetterHelp is a really easy entry point into therapy. You can go to my link, betterhelp.com/Jackie Flores, to answer a few questions, and BetterHelp will use your answers to match you to a therapist who understands you. You'll be matched usually within 48 hours, so if you need someone to talk to, you don't have to wait. If you use my link or choose Jackie Flores during sign up, you'll receive a discount on your first month with BetterHelp. Thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video and supporting this channel. And with that, let's jump right into today's video. I want to start off by talking about Madeline Soto. Madeline was a 13-year-old girl who disappeared on February 26, 2023. Her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, claimed that he dropped Madeline off at a church near her school sometime between 8:25 and 8:40 in the morning. However, However, that turned out to be a lie. Surveillance footage caught him throwing away her backpack in a dumpster near their home at 7:35 in the morning and then captured him again at 8:19 a.m. driving inside the apartment complex with Madeline sitting in the seat next to him. And when police looked at this footage, they determined that Madeline was no longer alive at that point. Her body was eventually found in a wooded area in Osceola County, and we ended the original video by talking about how her mom's boyfriend, Stefan, had been arrested. Well, I was reading more about this because after I posted the original video, there were so many updates as to what was going on with the investigation, what was going on with his arrest. Body cam footage was released of him in the police car. I mean, there was just so much information that came out like literally days after I posted the video. In the new court documents that were just released, I was able to read about what Stefan said when he was first brought in for questioning before he was arrested. And what he told detectives about Madeline is just very eerie. They asked him for some more insight into him and Madeline's relationship, and he said that Madeline was a, quote, very good girl who brought a lot of joy, and it did not feel the same without her around, end quote. He also went on to talk about how he is basically Madeline's bonus dad and how they had a very good and strong bond, that they would talk to each other constantly, that Madeline would go to him for comfort, or if she just needed to vent after getting into a fight with her mom. Like, he was that person for her. He also said, quote, this girl knows nothing but love here in this house, end quote. So with those statements that he made to police, you know, he kind of made it seem like Madeline and him had a very close relationship, that they trusted each other, and that Madeline felt safe and comfortable with him. If you recall, when Madeline first went missing, he was on the news crying, begging for her safe return. He was doing interviews with Madeline's mother, Jennifer. He was seen comforting her. He was passing out flyers. I mean, he just seemed really distraught over Madeline's disappearance.
She's a sweetheart. She's a very sweet, kind girl. Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her. Tell her that we love her. Wherever she is, I hope she's okay.
I mean, if someone were to come in contact with her and you gave me her diagnoses, would it be easy to approach her without any, like, agitation or anything?
Yeah. She's a good kid. She's a good kid.
Well, that was pretty much all an act because Madeline's body was found and then Stefan was arrested and charged with her murder on April 25th. As of now, officials have not shared any details on how she died or any of the circumstances surrounding her death. I did read that the medical examiner said that they probably aren't going to release the details. Maybe once his trial starts, you know, more details will come out about it, about how she passed away and, you know, the circumstances surrounding it. But what I did read was that her body was very decomposed when they found her. So I'm not sure if they're making those statements because the medical examiner is still trying to determine how she passed away and just kind of getting all the little details figured out. So yeah, as of now, we do not know how Madeline was killed. What we do know is that when Stefan was arrested and charged for the murder, he didn't really speak to detectives about this. You know, it's not like he said, oh, I'm not guilty, or kind of like explained the situation. He kind of kept quiet, and as of now, he has not provided a motive as to why he did this. The state's attorney office has spoken out, and they said that they're seeking the death penalty against him. The reason why they're aiming for this is based on 4 factors that the state intends to prove during the trial. First was that a capital felony was committed while Stefan was engaged in the commission of or an attempt to commit aggravated child abuse, about Madeline's vulnerability because Stefan stood in a position of familiar or custodial authority over her, also about how the capital felony was considered heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and how Stefan is currently facing more than 60 counts of battery, molestation, and other sex-related charges in a completely separate case, which will serve as priors if he is convicted. So they're saying that all of those factors put together is enough for them to seek the death penalty. After Stefan was arrested and charged, people were wondering when his trial was going to begin, what his defense was going to say. I mean, everyone was just so focused on just making sure that Madeline got justice and that the person that did this to her would actually be punished. His trial was actually supposed to begin this month on July 16th. However, his defense team filed a motion to delay this murder trial because they said that they just needed more time to get the case together, get all the evidence that they needed. They also needed to gather their witnesses, and they basically were like, you know what, we're not ready to begin this very intense and long trial. So they filed the motion to delay the trial, and the judge said that it was fine. The prosecution didn't even object to this either. So yeah, his trial did not begin on July 16th as previously scheduled. Now, remember, he also has these 60 additional charges relating to sexual battery, molestation, and possession of child sex abuse material pending. So there's a lot going on with Stefan. Like, there's so much stuff up against him. And as I said in my original video, like, those charges against him are just so deeply disturbing. Like, this man is actually so sick, and it just breaks my heart what Madeline had to go through. Since there's all this stuff against Stefan, the judge granted a status hearing for October 14th of this year at 9 o'clock in the morning. So everyone's basically going to get together that day to kind of just get updated on how his first-degree murder charges are going and on how these 60 additional charges are going. I assume that in October, we're going to learn more about the trial, you know, about when it's going to be scheduled to begin, what's going to happen with that. So I will definitely keep you guys posted as soon as we know anything about his trial or anything like that. As of now, Stefan is still behind bars. He remains in the Osceola County Jail, and I kind of just want to talk about what he's been doing behind bars, because there have been so many things released about emails that he has sent to his family members talking about the case, about complaints he has about living in jail. Like, it's crazy. So let's get into these emails. Channel 9 Eyewitness News released this article talking about the emails. They state that they obtained these emails between Stefan and his family members from a 64-page document that was filed from the state attorney's office. These emails are just so weird.
One day after Stefan Stearns' trial was delayed, the state attorney's office released this 64-page document of email correspondence between Stearns and who appears to be his parents.
In some of the emails, he was basically complaining about his living situation while in jail. He told his family that he just felt really bummed out and that he felt really sad because he was in isolation. And he specifically said, quote, "It's not exactly the Ritz. It's a small cell and the pod is quite noisy. I didn't think I would miss the medical pod, but now I wish I was back in that big cell where at least I could partially see out of the window and look at the sky and the grass and the trees off in the distance as they swayed in the breeze," end quote. So it seems like Stefan is not really happy about how isolated he is, and he's also not happy about how he has to eat without proper utensils and how the mat that he sleeps on isn't fluffy enough or comfortable. He told his family that the mat, quote, "is flat and has very little cushion left. The cell is small and filthy and has some spots on the wall that appear to be bloody fingerprints," end quote. So yeah, he's basically just complaining about the utensils, the mattress, the wall in his cell, you know, things like that. He also asked his parents if they could put some more money into his commissary because he doesn't want to run out of coffee. Like, that's his routine in jail. You know, he gets his coffee and then he starts reading his books. So he also asked his parents if they could send him some candy along with copies of The Hobbit, Murder on the Orient Express, Moby Dick, and other books, including one on origami, saying, quote, "That could be interesting to learn and a good way to pass time and satisfy my need to create and craft and use my hands," end quote. Now, a lot of people just felt really weird about these emails. They felt like he was kind of being picky and just complaining about stuff that seems very minimal when you're kind of looking at the bigger picture. You know, like, he's in that jail cell because he's being accused of murdering a 13-year-old girl. Yet he's there emailing his parents, complaining about how he's running out of coffee, he's asking for books, he's complaining about his mattress when, again, he's literally there awaiting a murder trial. That they kind of just showed Stefan's mindset right now about how maybe he doesn't realize how serious the situation is, or maybe he doesn't even care that he's in jail awaiting a murder trial because he's worried about all these other things. Okay, my red light literally just died, so I'm so sorry if my background just looks kind of plain now. I don't know what's wrong with it because I'm literally charging it right now, so I'm like, how are you not working if you're plugged in? Anyways, something else that really stuck out was that in some of these emails between Stefan and his parents, it sounded like his parents believed that he's covering up for someone else, that other people were also involved in Madeline's death, and that he didn't really do this alone. In one email believed to have been sent by his mother, she says, quote, "We all know blank was heavily involved in this, and I am disgusted that she is free and you are not when this is not all your fault. You need to think about yourself more and her less. She sure isn't thinking of you and how she can help you right now. That whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything. I think of the craziness blank lived through with blank's various partners. Not a stable life at all for a child. I do pray for blank and you daily." End quote. Now, the reason why I'm saying blank is because the names were redacted in that email that was released. They just didn't want to reveal who the mom was like allegedly talking about. However, a lot of people feel like Stefan's parents were speaking about Madeline's mother, Jennifer. You know, like they were saying, oh, Jennifer was involved. She's free. You're not. That Madeline lived through craziness because of all of Jennifer's various romantic partners and things like that. Again, I'm not saying that this is 100% confirmed that the names redacted were Jennifer and Madeline. That's just just like some of the speculation that people have as to who could fill in the blank. I was watching a lot of news reporters talking about these emails, and they were just like, I mean, what does this mean? Like, are they trying to say that Jennifer was involved, that she helped Stefan cover up her own daughter's death? I mean, why would they say that, that she's free and you're not, if they truly didn't believe that Jennifer was in some way involved?
In an email dated June 25th, Stearns tells his family, quote, "There's still perhaps a slim hope for my situation." He goes on to say, "I maintain hope that I might be able to come home once this whole nasty business has reached its end, and ask that you both remain hopeful as well and continue to pray for me to be delivered home again."
So yeah, those were some of the emails that were released in this 64-page document, but other information that came from this document is a statement that Madeline's mom, Jennifer, made to police. Now, she told police that she would often allow Stefan to sleep in the same bed as Madeline. When I read that, that literally just blew my mind. I was like, wait, no. I had to refresh and reread that part because I was just like, there's no way that's even possible. Who would allow something like that? So she told police that oftentimes the three of them would sleep in the same bed together, but because she worked a lot and would have to work a lot of late night shifts, she was sometimes really exhausted, and she would tell Stefan and Madeline to just sleep together. That way she could sleep by herself on the couch or in another bed and actually get some rest and refresh. Which again, that just does not seem right to me. Even the three of them sleeping in the same bed together is a little bit weird, and I just feel like it's very inappropriate. She also went on to say that on the last night that she saw Madeline alive, she had allowed Stefan and Madeline to sleep together that night because again, she was really tired. So she actually didn't sleep with them the night before Madeline was killed. I don't know, just reading that just made me really sad. I just feel like Madeline was let down by her mother, who was supposed to protect her and just make sure that she's safe and make the best choices for Madeline's safety and for her health. Yet she allowed her to just sleep in bed with this man who isn't even her blood or her stepfather or anything. It was just her boyfriend. Not saying that just because you share blood means that they wouldn't cause harm to you. I'm just saying the fact that she allowed her to sleep in the same bed with a stranger, with just her boyfriend, is just terrible, and it just makes me really sad for Madeline. I would love to know what you guys think about that statement that Jennifer made, because I know a lot of people online are just not happy with it, and it just kind of further pushes the narrative that maybe Jennifer wasn't the best mom. Now, I also want to touch on the photo of Madeline's body that was posted by a sheriff involved in the case. If you recall from my previous video, Sheriff Marcos Lopez had released a photo of Madeline's body on Instagram, which again is just insane how that even happened in the first place. Now, the photo dump that Marcos had posted had the caption, quote, "Great day with our seniors," and then had a bunch of smiley face emojis that have the halo around it. So he posted that photo, and it was a dump of him going to an event with seniors from the community. And in the photo dump, in the carousel, there was a photo of Madeline's body. The sheriff's office claims that this was an accident, that Marcos was just trying to show off photos from a community event for seniors that he had gone to, that he didn't know Madeline's photo was in that collage, and that as soon as they realized that that had been posted, they immediately removed the photo. The Osceola County Sheriff's Department also issued an apology to Madeline's family and to the public for the disturbance that photo caused, because what the heck? That's just so inappropriate. And again, they're claiming that it was an accident, but I just still don't get how you could post something like that and just not even check before you click post. You know what I mean? The community was just really upset by this. They felt like it was disrespectful to Madeline, to her family, and to just the public in general. They wanted Marcos to face some type of repercussion for what he did, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement was actually assigned to investigate the incident, and they came out and said that Sheriff Marcos was cooperating, that he wasn't trying to deny that he posted the photo, but again was just defending himself and saying that it was a complete accident. He did end up receiving a civil summons claiming that he violated Florida's public record laws when he posted the photo on Instagram, because according to Florida law, any image that depicts the killing of a minor is confidential and cannot be released by a government agency. So he clearly violated the law when he posted this photo, and he's actually scheduled to appear in court for a non-criminal hearing on December 20th of this year at 8:30 in the morning. As of now, the prosecution doesn't intend to charge him with anything more. They could have charged him with a misdemeanor or something more serious that would probably result in jail time. But again, they just feel like he didn't do this on purpose. They just feel like it was more of an accident, that he was just neglectful, and that was it. So if he is found guilty of this non-criminal infraction, I believe his only punishment will be a fine of up to $500. I don't know if that means he would still be part of the police department or if he would be suspended or have some type of repercussion in terms of his job, but I don't know, it's just still crazy that that photo was posted. A spokesperson for the state attorney's office spoke out and said, quote, "After reviewing the evidence, we determined that there is insufficient evidence to show the photo was willfully and knowingly posted to social media, and therefore criminal proceedings are not appropriate." End quote. So again, they just feel like he didn't do this on purpose and that he wasn't trying to be malicious or evil by posting Madeline's body. But I definitely do agree that he has to face some type of repercussion or some type of punishment just to kind of warn other people that they need to be more careful because this just can't happen again. Now, the last update that I have in Madeline's case is about the memorial that was set up for her. As we know, her body was found in a field, and after her body was found and the crime scene was cleared, people started to go to this field to leave her flowers and gifts and just basically set up a memorial for her. The memorial site got pretty big. You know, there was a lot of flowers there, balloons, teddy bears, like all of this stuff there. People would go there to pay their respects to Madeline, so it was a very busy site. Well, where the memorial was set up is actually on private property, and the owners have come out stating that it's kind of time to pack everything up and clear up the memorial. They obviously don't want to be insensitive to Madeline or to her family and just like throw everything away. They of course want to be respectful to Madeline and her family. So they're actually trying to find a way to get her a new permanent memorial like somewhere else. So they're actually speaking to a couple of local businesses to see if maybe one of the businesses will offer up a spot or something like that, because they do want to create like a beautiful memorial for Madeline, you know, a memorial that she deserves. So as of now, they're just trying to find a new spot for her memorial. I did see that some people were kind of upset about this. They felt like the property owners were being very insensitive by saying like it's time to clear up Madeline's memorial. But I also understand because it is private property and people were like going on their property to leave stuff there. So I kind of understand their perspective as well. But as of now, we don't know where her new memorial will be set up. So I will definitely keep you guys posted once I find out. As of now, that is pretty much all of the updates that I have on Madeline Soto. What happened to her just absolutely breaks my heart. It's a case that's just like always in the back of my mind because I feel like she was just let down by her mom and by the people around her. You know, she just deserved so much better. She deserved to live, to grow up, to follow her dreams, and to just live the happiest life ever. The new information that was revealed about, you know, her sleeping in the same bed as Stefan and Stefan's emails with his parents, like all of that stuff is just really, really shocking. So we will see what happens on October 14th. A lot of people are wondering if there are maybe more people involved in this. You know, maybe the emails between Stefan and his parents do have some slight truth in them, or maybe they're just like grasping at straws. You know, maybe they don't want to believe that Stefan did this by himself and that he actually is this like evil and disturbed person. So they're trying to just like grasp at straws by saying like, no, this wasn't fully your fault. Like she was involved. She was a bad mother, you know, things like that. So either way, my heart goes out to Madeline's family. I am so sorry that this happened to your loved one. Again, she just deserves so much more. And in the end, I just hope that she does get the justice that she deserves. Now let's talk about Alicia Navarro. If you want to see my first video on Alicia's case, I will have that link down below. I also posted a second video on Alicia Navarro with an update because she was actually found. If you haven't watched my original videos, let me just give you like a brief summary. On September 14th, 2019, 14-year-old Alicia Navarro disappeared. Her mother, Jessica, discovered a note from Alicia that stated, quote, "I ran away. I will be back. I swear I'm sorry." End quote. Jessica just couldn't believe this. You know, she was shocked that her daughter ran away. She just didn't understand how this happened or why this happened. Police were called to the scene, and the main theory that they and the public had was that Alicia was lured by someone that she met on the internet. This person convinced her to run away, that they were probably pretending to be another teenage girl or maybe a teenage boy. She disappeared in 2019, and 4 years later, on July 23rd, 2023, Alicia reappeared. She walked into a police station in Montana and identified herself as now 18-year-old Alicia Navarro. It was just shocking. Like, I remember hearing the news that she had reappeared, and I was just so happy for her family. They had been searching for her for 4 years and just doing everything that they could to spread awareness on her disappearance. So to hear that she was found and that she was found alive and seemed, you know, healthy, it just made me feel so happy for the family. Again, if you want to hear more details about what happened when Alicia disappeared, what happened when she was found, you know, things like that, that video will be linked down down below. Everyone started to wonder what was going to happen with her case. Were police going to look into the man that she had been allegedly living with for the past few years? Were they going to question him? Were they going to arrest him? A lot of people just felt like this man was a predator, that he is probably the one who lured Alicia back when she was a young teenage girl, and that she is the reason why she disappeared in the first place. Well, just days after Alicia walked into the police station and identified herself, authorities actually brought this man in for questioning. A spokesperson for the police came out and said that they brought him in for questioning. They didn't bring him in to arrest him or charge him with anything. They just wanted to talk to him. They said, quote, "We're piecing together years of a person's life, and that's not something that's done overnight," end quote. They couldn't just arrest this man in the moment and charge him for Alicia's disappearance because they didn't know the full story yet. They didn't know who this man was, how he met Alicia in the first place, of how they ended up living in Montana together. I mean, they knew nothing about what had happened in the past 4 years. So they temporarily detained him for questioning, and then he was released. A Glendale police spokesperson named Gina Wynn said that authorities were working to determine if a crime had occurred in the past 4 years and if anyone could be held accountable for Alicia's disappearance. That at the time, they just didn't know if this man was actually responsible for her disappearance, but that they were looking at him being involved in her abduction as a possible scenario. Now, people did feel frustrated with the police, they felt like police should have immediately arrested him and captured him and put him behind bars and everything because, again, they felt like this guy was a predator. He was much older than Alicia. It was just a very weird situation. So a lot of people felt frustrated with the police for not immediately arresting him or just giving the public clear answers in regards to how the investigation was going, which I understand why police were kind of hush-hush about it because they need to make sure that the case is airtight, that nothing gets leaked that could harm the investigation. So it's understandable why they just didn't really want to share all the details with the public. If anything, I feel like the only people that should get the details first are her family. The news shouldn't get the story first. The public shouldn't get the story first. The family is really the only people that need to know and are really the only people that deserve answers. The Glendale Police Department and Detective Trent, who was a private detective working with Alicia's family, said that they have received thousands of tips since Alicia has come forward and that it's going to be a long process to go through all of these tips and see what's true and what isn't. There are so many people that now that Alicia has been found are oh yeah, I saw her a few years ago at this park, or I saw her at Walmart, or I saw her doing this and that. And yeah, maybe it could be true. Maybe these people did see Alicia years ago, but it also could just be completely false and not helpful to the investigation. Detective Trent says that this just isn't an easy investigation to resolve and says that one of the main challenges that they're facing is trying to go back to Alicia's technology from 4 years ago to figure out if this man contacted her through social media, if this man contacted her through some type of gaming website. I mean, it's hard to just kind of retrace her steps from 4 years ago and again determine if any laws were broken back then. Detectives were working hard to find the truth, and on July 26th of 2023, they executed a search warrant in the apartment where it's believed that Alicia and this man were living in. Detectives walked up to the apartment, they knocked on the front door, and they were met with Alicia. Alicia told them that no one was home, that it was just her, but detectives kind of peeked in behind her, and that's when they saw that this man was literally in the kitchen throwing a cell phone into the trash can and then putting stuff on top of the phone to hide it in the bin. Of course, this looked suspicious. Why are you trying to throw away your phone? So the officers let them know that they had a warrant, that they were allowed to come inside the house and investigate, and then they executed the search warrant. In the end, they seized 3 cell phones, including the one that the man was trying to throw away in the trash can. They seized a laptop, and they also seized an Xbox. Once they gathered all of these items, they sent it back to the Glendale Police Department for further investigation. The fact that this man was trying to throw a cell phone away and hide it just made police question what was on the phone. They realized that something was going to be found on these devices, so they obtained a search warrant to further investigate. And when they dug into his cell phone and onto his laptop, they discovered that all of these devices did belong to the man. The phone, the laptop, the Xbox, they were not Alicia's, they were this man's, and the reason why they know this is because they were able to unlock it and they saw that he was logged into his Google and social media and stuff like that, and that he was the one registered as the user on the phone. So they were okay, perfect. We now know that this phone does belong to the man, that it doesn't belong to Alicia, and they continued digging into the phone, and what they ended up discovering on his cell phone is extremely disturbing. I'm not going to get into every little detail with descriptions of what these photos and videos entailed because they are very disturbing and truly sick and evil. Since I read the court document, I did read what these photos and videos entailed, but I don't recommend that you go look it up up yourself. I will just say that dozens of images of suspected child sex abuse were found on his phone. Again, I don't want to get into details, but I will just say that it involved females and males, prepubescent girls, infants, and even toddlers. Once these images were found, the Glendale police selected 10 images from the collection, and then they sent these 10 images over to some medical experts because they wanted the medical experts to review the photos and determine what age these males and females were. And they determined that most of them were under the age of 13, with 2 images of the children under the age of 5. Along with these photos of real people, he also had animated content showing children being sexualized. It all is just absolutely disgusting. It literally makes me feel sick reading that and just even thinking about what those children went through, and it's just absolutely evil. With this incredibly disturbing evidence found, by October of 2023, it was reported that the Montana police had arrested the man who turned out to be 36-year-old Edmund Davis. This was then followed by a statement released by the Montana Attorney General's office on October 24th of 2023, where they said, quote, "The Montana Attorney General's office is charging a Montana man linked to a previously missing Arizona teenager with 2 felony counts of sexual abuse of children resulting from child sexual abuse material found on his cell phone." End quote. They also stated that these charges were not at all related to Alicia Navarro, that this was just something like completely separate from that situation. After his arrest in Montana, Edmund was being held in the Hill County Detention Center on a $1 million bond. As of now, when I'm posting this video, there hasn't been much of an update as to what's going on with Edmund, as to when his hearing is going to be scheduled. So we don't really know much about what's going on with that. All we really know is that he's behind bars right now. He's being held on this huge bond, and that he's just a sick individual. If he is found guilty of these charges, this carries a 100-year prison sentence. So again, all of this stuff is just very serious and just absolutely disturbing. Again, I do just want to reiterate that they are claiming that these charges against Edmund are not related to Alicia. As of now, the Glendale Police Department and the FBI are continuing to investigate Alicia's disappearance from 4 years ago. Again, they just want to figure out what actually happened, how she left, why she left, if Edmund was involved in her disappearance. They just want to know, what happened from 2019 to 2023. A couple of news stations have actually spoken to Edmund's mother, and she says that she really has no idea what's going on with this. Like, she doesn't know anything about what her son has been doing, where he's been living, or anything about Alicia Navarro's. So it seems like his mom just really didn't know much about this, because I know a lot of people were like, how was she living with Edmund for the past 4 years, and how did no one in his family realize that this was Alicia Navarro? In September of 2023, so just a month before Edmund was arrested, ABC 15 spoke to Detective Trent, who again is a private detective that was working on Alicia's case. And I actually don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but he's also the director of the Anti-Predator Project, which will be linked down below because it's a really great organization. So I highly recommend that you guys go read more about them. Anyways, he told ABC 15 that there is still a lot of work to be done to figure out what actually happened. And again, says that this is honestly one of the most complex and bizarre cases that he's ever been involved in. That he's just trying to figure out what happened from September of 2019 to June of 2023. There's so much information to go over in the past 4 years, and it's obviously going to take them time to go through everything and just put this case together. In regards to Edmund's arrest, he said, quote, "The decision was to charge him with the most obvious crimes, the most serious crimes, and the ones that we can probably make stick without having to re-traumatize anybody." End quote. He also added that maybe more charges in the future are possible. Again, we don't know if it's related to Alicia or not related to Alicia. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that Alicia is alive. That is what matters, and that's what everyone has been hoping for when Alicia first went missing in 2019. Everyone just wanted her to be found and to be reunited with her family again. In November of 2023, it was reported that Alicia is now finally reunited in person with her mother. Again, at the end of the day, that is all that matters. If Alicia's family never wants to come forward to speak about the case again, that is totally fine. If Alicia never wants to come out and speak about what happened to her, that is also her right. I just know a lot of people have been judging Alicia's family, and they feel like they should come out and make a statement, or that Alicia should do an interview or a docu-series to talk about everything that's happened, but I just don't really feel like she has to give us answers or has to give us clarification. The police are doing what they need to do. You know, they're trying to figure out if someone did break the law and if someone did do something to her. So, you know, they're working on that and just making sure that if anyone did do something to her is punished. So I really do hope that she just ends up following her dreams, that she continues to grow up and is just genuinely happy. If Edmund did have something to do with her disappearance, or if anyone else had something to do with it, they should be held responsible and they should be punished by the law. I will have all of my sources linked down below if you guys want to look more into this, if you guys want to read any of the court documents, or just, you know, look at more interviews in regards to Madeline and Alicia. Again, I just want to give another shout out to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They have so much helpful information on their website in regards to child abuse, in regards to signs to look out for, or how to get help if your child is missing, how to get help if you or someone you know is being abused, about internet safety. I mean, they just have so much helpful information, and they also helped Alicia's family when she first went missing to spread awareness and make flyers and things like that. So they're just a really amazing organization that is there to support families. So if you are able to make a donation to them, that would be amazing. I mean, any little bit will help, but as I said, I will be donating a portion of today's video to NECMEC on behalf of La Familia. As of now, that is pretty much all the updates that I have on Madeline Soto and Alicia Navarro. My thoughts and prayers go out to the families of Madeline and Alicia. This is just a really tragic situation, and at the end of the day, I just hope that Madeline does get justice and that Alicia heals from this and just lives the best life possible. Thank you guys so much for being here and for taking the time to listen to these case updates. As I've mentioned so many times, you guys are literally the best familia ever, and I just really thank you guys so much for listening to these videos and helping me spread awareness. I will keep you guys posted on any new updates in any of the past cases that I've covered, but if there are any other cases that you would like me to cover, make sure to leave me a comment down below. Thank you guys again so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, familia.